The Ken Burns effect actually was born in 2002, I believe it was, when Steve Jobs asked me to come to Cupertino, California. It may have been 2003, and to see something he and some engineers have been trying to perfect, which is this ability to move and pan through photographs. And they had just perfected it, and they were gonna put it on all programs on Mac computers, and asked that they be able to call it the Ken Burns effect. And so that took hold. But up at the time of the Civil War, people began to parody the style of tilting up. They began to make fun of a seriousness, a kind of portentousness that is present in the films. And that became good, so people began to mock it, which is always a good sign. And we took it all in good spirit. And so the word Ken Burns effect didn't really enter the lexicon until later, but it now has retroactively gone back to cover all of the sins that I have committed and have been dutifully spoofed, from The Simpsons to Saturday Night Live to other late night talk show hosts and other venues. Now the internet is filled with just gloriously wonderful spoofs and digs at our style. And essentially, we have 8 elements: 4 visual, 4 oral. We have visually live cinematography, old photographs, interviews, and footage. Orally, we have the third-person narrator, the voice of God, first-person voices, music, and sound effects. And each film uses these in different quantities. To me, they are totally different. But like an exhibition of paintings by Cezanne, when you step back from them and survey, there's a similarity. And so this is where there's a sense of the same kind of style, but style's good. Style is the authentic application of all the techniques that we have. And if somebody has evolved a style, that's who they are. It's a reflection of who they are. I mean, I have some films that have no live cinematography. Some films like Lewis and Clark are almost all live cinematography. Some have no first-person voices. It's all narration. Others are filled with first-person voices. Some have a handful of interviews. Some have dozens and dozens of interviews. Some have less narration. Some use it as all still photographs because there's no footage. Some depend on lots of footage. So I use them in different quantities. This is a grossly oversimplified sense of what it is, but you can get your head around the 4 oral and the 4 visual, the 8 elements that are the techniques that I think that when they are used authentically, organically, can be called style. When I'm producing a film, it's my gut feeling, and let me just say right now, and I should have done it from the beginning, when a film is signed Ken Burns, there are lots of people who've had something to do with it. The co-producers that I work with, my brother Rick, most notably Lynn Novick or Dayton Duncan. Dayton Duncan's also been a writer. Jeffrey Ward and his contribution. Buddy Squires and Alan Moore as principal cinematographers in addition to my own cinematography. Editors, notably Paul Barnes, but also many other people that have passed through our ranks and gone on or have stayed with us and grown up with us. So when I take credit for a film, it's really mindful of all those people that are going in, and we've all begun to respond. It's a kind of emotional archaeology is the best way I can describe it. It's sort of straining and listening to the ghosts and echoes of an almost inexpressibly wise past. And as you approach the problems of production, and I don't mean that pejoratively, I mean that working on a film like the Civil War is literally millions of problems that you solve and overcome, and that's the stuff. That's what gets you up in the morning. You respond to it intuitively. You respond to it, and all of that, after a while, has a cumulative effect that may be, through abbreviation, erroneously called a Ken Burns effect, when it is all of us working together to figure out, first of all, how to be good filmmakers, and second of all, I suppose, how to be good historians.